Hey everyone, I'm Hallease Beast, a digital storyteller and video producer.
I got nothing. I was trying to think of it before you finished that. And I'm Mr. Hallease, and I don't define myself by my job title or as a nurse.
That makes me feel a certain type of way about myself, but all right. This is the Beastcast, your favorite aunt and uncle talking about married life and things like such as.
Oh, that wasn't a dig at you, though. That was just like...
I know, it's fine. I'm just saying.
Oh, man.
It's fine.
Roll the music.
All right. So this week's topic is...
It's gonna be heavy.
Just a little bit. Because it keeps kind of popping up in... I don't know, just like conversations we've had. And then also a few of y'all have messaged me. One person in particular sent me a message via DM on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Woo! And we're just going to get right into it. He says, he's black, by the way. He says, hey, digging your podcast a lot, and I have a question. You probably get this question a lot, forewarning. Which he's right. Do you feel less competent as a black woman being in an interracial relationship than a black woman not in an interracial relationship? I'm a black man dating a white woman, and I feel tension for exploring my identity as a black man. Also feeling tension of betraying black women. I'm thankful for my girlfriend being understanding in this time. Any insight? Also, the tension is mainly from within, but I've gotten some shade from other black women. And, you know, I mean, it's a fair question. It's like, are you ever black enough? I feel like is the theme that keeps popping up in my life. And a lot of that is in regards to who I have married and spending my life with.
To start us off, I feel like we should reciprocate the shout out that we received a couple weeks ago in their podcast, How Married Are You?
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. They're also on
They're
Anchor,
on YouTube now.
YouTube and Spotify. They have their own YouTube channel. Check out the YouTube channel if you're interested in their podcast specifically. In their podcast, you have Glenn and his wife Yvette, talking about marriage essentially. But they have, and this cannot be denied, they have the black perspective because they are both black.
Right.
And so if people were looking for marriage, just like marriage talk, marriage chit chat, they would go to them specifically if it's from a black perspective.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so do you feel like our perspective is just married people, but do you feel like your black voice is like the same? Like if you can talk about black issues,
Mm-hmm.
or I guess black relationship advice.
No, I can't.
With the same clout, no?
No, because I'm not in a black relationship, so why would I speak on that, I'm in a relationship, but not a black one, obviously, which has its own, for better or worse, I guess, has its own culture, its own clout, its own definitions, its own stuff.
But that doesn't invalidate your experience, though, right?
I mean, it depends on the circle, I suppose. I'm sure to some black people, my experience is to a degree invalidated because of who I'm married to or who I spend the bulk of my time with.
But, legitimately, I'm kind of going into this blind. So, these are going to be somewhat idiotic questions, but whatever.
Yeah.
Why? How so? Just because... that kind of goes into you're diluting yourself. So now your experience isn't quite the same. And it's but...
Sure. I guess you can make that argument. I would argue that my experience is just expanded. But sure, it can be diluted as well. But then you also have to think about, I think just within the black culture itself, so much of it is about survival. So much of it is about having a deep, strong sense of community because no one else is going to understand what we have gone through and currently go through. And so when you sort of break ranks in such an obvious way, I think to certain Black people, it can send a message of like, oh, you ain't here for us, even though I obviously am. I don't know. It's tough. I think for Black women specifically, there is this unspoken understanding that you want to support Black men as much as possible. And I think even growing up, you're almost taught to a fault to like try to find a Black man specifically rather than just a good man. You're supposed to find a Black one. That wasn't really pressed upon me growing up. My parents more focused on just finding someone that was good in general, regardless of what they look like. I think a lot of that had to play into geography of where we were. They were just like, how are we going to even limit you in that way when there's just like not that many Black people around? So why would we, like, it's already hard to find someone to spend your life with anyway. Why are we going to then add another layer of difficulty to that by making it about race or, phenotype?
I mean, I understand that point. And so it's like you're always trying to lift up the person next to you. So it's like you always have that solidarity with other Black individuals. And I like just being other, like I'm just not going to understand it. Like I understand that whole like, uplifting other people, Black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
Neighbors, whatever, you're just always going to try to go out of your way to help them. But then when it becomes that personal, I mean, if we talk about romantic love, then, that almost invalidates it. Like it just severely limits your pool as to like who you can date within. And so then is there such a thing as soulmate if the soulmate has to be within this one bucket?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point too, I think it's also, so especially like to this person specifically, he's a Black man dating a white woman, and attraction isn't like in a vacuum, right? So while I'm sure, no shade to him, while I'm sure his white girlfriend is great, and she obviously seems very loving and understanding of this identity crisis that he's kind of going through based on these messages we had, attraction isn't in a vacuum. Studies have shown that Black women are at the bottom of the totem pole socially when it comes to just general attraction, right? I think the top is like Indian women, then next is white women, and then I think Asian men are at the bottom with Black women as well. And obviously we're talking about in the heterosexual sense. But yeah, so it's like, while I'm sure she's great, you also have to acknowledge that tension as well of that, did he first find her attractive initially because of all of those social implications that come into what we deem attractive? That's why I think when we were first dating, I would ask you like, why are you with me? And not because I didn't think I was beautiful or anything like that, but just like socially speaking, like you had all the capabilities to be with someone else, And even now, I know there's been like points of contention or tension between us when I have asked like, well, what even drew you to me and this and that? And a lot of it is what drew you to me is not based on my physical features, but more of my like intellect and my mind, which I'm grateful for because that's what you actually build a lasting relationship on. But at the same time, as all women do, as all people do, you do want to be admired physically, So to me, when I hear that, it's kind of like even more of a validation of like, yeah, okay, I made up for my social standing with my intellect, with my brain, with my this, with my that.
I mean, oh man, this is going to be a long podcast. Okay. So trying to organize my thoughts a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to touch on like why potentially, and by the way, like this guy, it's going to remain anonymous, but thank you for,
Yeah, sure.
It's opening up the conversation.
Yeah.
I want to talk about like why it would be socially acceptable or more socially acceptable for a Black male to do that, to go outside the race than a Black female. Then touching on just like, oh, well, what do you find attractive? Like, I almost feel like, like when you start talking about like, oh, well, the chocolate skin and it's like, and the this and the that. And it's just like, it almost comes down part of it's just like the poetic or like the love language where you just like start talking really amorously about like every physical feature. That almost comes off to me as fetishism. If it's coming from like outside the pool, then it's just like, oh yeah, you know, she's got like that type of skin. She's got like this and that, and her hair is like, it's like lamb's wool, but like the soft kind that like caresses you at night and you fall into like a pillow. And it's like, why? But it's like all of those things are just all of those things. Like I wasn't in it specifically seeking out those features.
Right.
It's like, I love you, and like all of those things are a part of you. But I feel like if I highlight them, then it's just kind of like, why are you talking that way? It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because on the one hand, you know, you have the hashtag Black love, you know what I mean? It shows like just different Black couples like being in love. And I think a lot of that stuff I think really comes down to just representation. You don't see, just functioning, loving Black couples aren't represented online.
And I'm not trying to detract from that. Like I feel like if you're highlighting that, then yeah, like there should be examples for other people to say like, hey, this can be found. Yeah. Within, like, this is a thing.
Yeah.
This is still valid. Sorry.
And I mean, I think that's what a lot of it comes down to. But yeah, it is very. I guess there's like a fine line with all of that where it does start to teeter into just kind of like. I don't know. Well, it's not. I don't know, because I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say it's like fetishizing yourself, because then it's like, well, what is that? It's just loving yourself, right? You know, it's just like loving your features.
But if it's an outside perspective, calling that out, then it's like
that does come off as strange when it's just like obvious man or woman outside of a certain race or phenotypic group, I guess you could say, being like, oh, well, you know, I just love olive-skinned people, and it's just kind of like, why?
It's so strong. You look so strong and powerful and regal, like you were like of royalty, of royal lineage from like the African continent.
Yeah, it gets strange. And then the food references and just
right.
It gets weird, gets real weird. Okay, thanks, love. Hey everyone, thanks so much for listening / watching this episode of the Beastcast. A few things. If you're watching here on YouTube, let the ads play. That really helps us out. Try not to click through them, but if you have to click through, we understand, because times are hard and ads are annoying.
Well put.
The second thing you can do, though, if the spirit moves you, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Hallease. There you can support the Beastcast if you are so inclined. I also do Motivation Mondays, where I let people know about everything I'm producing and working on. So if you're interested in it, in the creative entrepreneurial life, you can check those out as well.
You can give as much or as little as you like. You can set a cap monthly. So if you just want to give $1 per month, that's awesome. Again, that pays for some of the coffee.
Exactly. So please consider checking us out on Patreon. And then finally, I think that's it, right?
We're also available on wherever your favorite podcasts can be gotten.
Yes.
So Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Google Podcasts, Stitcher. Like we're in a lot of different places. So wherever you're listening to us, please rate us wherever you are listening, because that helps us out as well. And also, if you want to get in contact with us directly, we love hearing from y'all. So send us a DM on Instagram, The Beastcast, @The Beastcast is the Instagram for the podcast. It's run by Mr. Hallease over here. Ish. And you can send us a DM about anything. So yeah, especially like topics you think we should do. So please do.
And otherwise, we just enjoy y'all being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for being part of her professional journey and our lives every other weekend or so.
Yeah.
Oh, you could also buy merch if you want to support us. Sorry, I'm gyrating and gesticulating like an idiot. I'm describing this for those of you listening on the podcast, but there's merch if you feel so inclined. It's available on
teespring.com/stores/Hallease.
It's a lot of slashes.
They're all necessary. So yeah, and I think we had a new Patreon producer, Erica. Thank you. Welcome.
Hey, thank you
to the Patreon production team. It's good to have you with us. And I think that's everything. Let's get back to the podcast. Bye.
So why would it be okay? Why would it be more okay for a black man to go outside than a black woman? Like, do you feel like you get more looks?
I don't know if it's more okay for a black man.
Is it more acceptable?
I think it's more accepted or understood. But I don't know if it's necessarily more okay. That doesn't seem like the right word. And so you have, it's almost like a status symbol now for it's like subconsciously seen as a status symbol now for black men of like, oh, I hit a certain level, now I'm attractive to white women, you know? And so you hear or you see that kind of represented in the media, black men sort of like marrying up, if you will.
I almost kind of see it as like, like as a man, like they are not in control of the womb, in control of like what gets passed down. Like they're just, oh, he's sowing wild oats, right? If I can quote Coming to America.
Okay.
Then it's like, so I mean, he's just sowing wild oats. Like he's going to be attracted to whoever he's attracted to, or he's just going to, lay down as much of his genetic line as he can. Whereas if a black woman goes outside, then it's like, whoa. You're like, without you, then, there's no black babies. So it's almost like that thing where, you just need to, sexually, you just need to like be a little bit more in control of the situation, aware of the situation about getting pregnant as a woman. Like that's almost how it's taught in like sex ed, where it's like, the man, he's not going to be reliable. So, you have to take steps to protect yourself. And it's like, okay, well, why do I always have to be like conscious of that, but men get a pass card?
Yeah.
And so like, if you throw in race into that, then it's like, so why does it seem like, oh yeah, well, the black woman, I mean, but no black man was good enough for her? Like all the genetic lineage is just like chopped down.
It's complicated, man. I don't know.
And again, this is coming from a place of ignorance. So like a lot of these questions or points, just ignorance. But so the dude made it almost was like he made 2 points, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you what my points to him were.
Okay.
My points to him were that idea of like, like I said, I'm sure your girlfriend's great, and I'm glad she's like willing to understand what internally you're trying to work through for yourself. At the end of the day, you just got to live your life, bro. Like, at the end of the day, you just got to live your life, and you got to live in your decisions. You're probably going to get shaded by black people every now and then when they see you out with her. Like, that's just what comes with the territory of the decision you've made of who you want to date or who you want to be with. It doesn't invalidate the love you have for anyone or anything like that, but it's just something you kind of have to roll with and be like firm in your decision, And that was like my main point. Cause it's like, I'm not going to pick anybody for anyone, I'm definitely not going to base it on phenotype, there's so many other things that build a union with somebody besides genetic features, y'all can both be black, but if he's abusing you, what good is that? So that's basically what I told him. I was just like, live your life, dude.
So he touched on like voice and identity, right? So
yeah.
He was like, well, does this, like, I wonder if this like invalidates my voice or, if it changes my identity. So then my question to you is, okay, so the marriage outside of that phenotype, or I guess outside of that race, invalidates your opinion. But you were not raised say in like Virginia, where you have family.
Mm-hmm.
So you were not raised where there were primarily black population,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So does that invalidate your perspective? And then also, like, you did not grow up. You grew up as a black person, but you did not grow up like with enough struggle,
Right.
because
Yeah.
like you and I came from middle class privilege.
Right. Yeah.
But so does that invalidate your perspective? And I'm just asking. So then it's like, so was your perspective never
Yeah. Was it
pure
ever
enough?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Or does it matter? And to your point, there's always going to be people that detract, where it's like, well, no, your perspective doesn't matter. And then you're going to have people that say she's black. She's growing up black in a society. Like, she's going to be perceived as a black woman.
Right.
So her opinion is valid.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really, I think it all comes down to like who's in the room and who's your audience at the end of the day. Like, I know for me personally, yeah, all of my family is from Virginia and the Carolinas, and I'm kind of the only Texan technically in the family. And yeah, there just aren't a lot of black people down here. And then the people that are here, I think a lot of them are doing, I would say, middle class or better, because a lot of them are military, and that just comes with a whole different culture built into it. So yeah, when I would go back home to Virginia, which I do consider Virginia home too, but when I would go back home to Virginia to visit my extended family, there was a rift. The rift was more based around class rather than race. I didn't talk black enough. I didn't I didn't just fit in culturally enough into the area. And there was nothing I could really do about that. It's just, what do they call you? Like Oreo or whatever? Something like that, Black on the outside, but white on the inside. And it's just like, I mean, y'all can say whatever you need to say to feel good. But at the end of the day, I'm going to come back to Texas and I'm still black down here. So, it is what it is. I don't know. I think it is a little bit of like the crab in the barrel thing, just a little bit.
Crab in the barrel, meaning that you can't escape because everyone else is trying to escape and pull you down. So everyone's just pulling each other down.
Right. And I think the big thing of why I'm even on YouTube is because I wanted to see just a more diverse audience within the black community itself. Like, there's not one way to be black. There's infinitely many ways to be black. So I don't think my experience is invalidated in any way. I think it's just a different experience, and that's it.
The other point that this person made was, or I guess another question that he brought up was, I kind of want you to expound upon like being fair. It's like whether he was being fair to other black women. And so in the relationship, whether you're being fair to other black men. So then, like, do you owe something to the collective, like this anonymous collective?
Yeah. I mean,
where you have to think about them before making a choice, like a romantic decision or choice.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to say that, like, to have a racially homogenous. It's homogenous.
Yeah.
Racially homogenous relationship is wrong. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But in your journey to like fixate on that, to build that up, you like cast aside and invalidate, marginalize other relationships such as ours.
Right. Well, not even that. To me, it's just, again, like, it's already hard to find someone to spend your life with. Like, why would you make it even harder for yourself? But at the same time, I understand. I have a lot of black female friends that are like, I'm not marrying outside of my race because I don't have, and it's a valid point, man, because it's tiring. I don't have the strength or like the patience, right, to work through potential rifts with a partner based around, not necessarily around race, but around just understanding like what my own unique experience is, right? And so they're just like, I want to be with someone who already has that understanding built in because it is their existence as well.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah. And so it's like, I get that, especially in this day and age, like just everything that's going on. I get that completely. My only counter to that is, again, you're potentially shutting out a wide breadth of experiences that you could have.
That's a legitimate argument, though.
No, yeah, it's totally a legitimate
It's
argument.
like you learn real quick in the dating process. Like, I don't understand certain ways of like praise worshiping, and it's like you're not meant to. That's fine.
Praise worship.
Well, I mean, it's like you're right, and then there's like the whole hair thing, like we talked about in a couple videos ago.
Yeah, it's a
like,
lot.
well, why? Like you spend so much time on your hair, and like you do a whole bunch of stuff on your hair, and it's like. It's your world, and it's like I don't understand, and then like your hair's kind of itchy, like could you do something about that? Your hair products kind of smell a little weird, like can you do something about that? So yeah, I mean that's dang, I never even thought of that.
Yeah, it's a lot to go through, especially as a woman. It's already hard being a woman in general. Okay, like let alone then having to have just another layer of just difficulty built into that.
Yeah, I'm just like blindsided still by that point. Like that's a totally legitimate point, and it's like I got no counter argument. It's like, oh, that's a thing. That is a thing, and I got nothing. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just I get it. And then it's also like the person that they might like the person outside of their race that they might be dating, they might not have the patience either to understand. As you know, we've had friends that were in interracial marriages, and
Yeah, there was a thing.
Yeah.
There was a small racial thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard out here. You have to protect yourself. Especially like black women, you got to protect yourself. Like I get it. So. And then I also like to his point too, when I mentioned to him, attraction isn't in a vacuum. Again, I'm sure she's great, but like, we can't pretend like there isn't like we can't pretend colorism isn't a thing. We can't pretend, that built into our culture, it's been like personified or commodified to date outside your race as a black man and find someone who isn't black to be with. Like we're not going to pretend, like we can't pretend those things aren't happening. And so to the same point, I understand when I get looks being out with you because I feel like the same thing can be asked of me. Like I have to then acknowledge like, well, what is it about you that I thought was attractive? How much of that was not forced onto me, but like part of the social conditioning of the area that I'm in? How much of that is actually just genuinely, I mean, I think genuinely you are an attractive man, but like how much of that is built into, the social protocol of things, right? So
pretty sure it was my bushy like unibrow. I got like a small unibrow that's been going on for like decades now. Yeah,
love it.
pretty sure it was that.
Gets me going.
And it's like there ain't no other man that has that.
Beautiful.
It's either too much or not there. This is just like right in the middle,
Yeah, beautiful unibrow.
It's not that like Anthony Towns. Is it Anthony Towns? Oh man,
Who?
I don't want to. Hang on. Don't want to sound like an idiot. Bro.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got rowdy unibrow.
Anyway, it's like Anthony Davis. It's like it's either Anthony Davis or like clean cut. This is just like, just right in the middle.
He's grazing. I mean, I can ask. So here's the point.
That was a 2-minute tangent. I'm sorry.
But I can ask the same. You're trying to de-stress. It's fine. This is a hard topic today. So I would ask the same question of you though. Like, do you ever? And I don't know if this is just the beauty of like the male like kind of not caringness that I think kind of just is inherent to men sometimes, and a little bit of just I don't know, just rolling with your own life. Like, it's my decision, I don't care. But do you ever feel remorse or ever question your decision to marry outside of your race? Because I mean, for as intense as the black community is, I think about black love and all of that kind of stuff, I do see a lot of parallels within the Latinx community, at least here in Texas, for sure.
No.
No? All right, that's very straightforward.
No.
Okay.
You're close enough, right? It's like there's white and then there's like there's white and like non-white. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, I mean, Hispanic. I'm light skinned, right? But I'm a light skinned Hispanic. Mm-hmm. But like, we kind of run the gamut, the color spectrum.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, no, not really. I mean, culturally, like you said, it's like I enjoy eating organ meat. You enjoy eating organ meat. I like eating goat. You like eating goat. Like seafood is a big thing. I mean, it's like culturally, food is it's such a foundation, like a foundational part of our culture. Mm-hmm. And like across the board, I can eat most of the stuff that y'all typically eat, and then like vice versa. Mm-hmm. So like that's not really an issue. Religion's kind of more the thing. It's like, oh, it's Catholic. And it's like, ain't no, but like, I don't like some white pope. Like, why do y'all listen to this white pope?
Yeah.
It's like, why do y'all semi-worship saints or whatever? Like, there's this like weird thing. I'm not trying to like shade Catholics or Christianity, but it's like, you have this like weird middle ground between you and God. And it's like, no, but really it's just God. It's like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, like in regards to your culture versus mine.
Right, but I mean,
it's a straight shot.
Generally, no. I mean, there's nothing against dating outside the race. Like, there's no axiom for me to do it, as far as I know. Or like, I never felt the pressure to.
You never felt the pressure to date outside of your race, or to date within your race?
Yes, correct.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, so for the most part, I was a nerdy Hispanic kid. Anyway, and like no one would touch me with a 10-foot pole throughout high school. And then like things kind of changed in college, and then now it's like, I mean, whoever's gonna take me, it's like, oh my God, she's normal. She's beautiful and she's normal. Yes, lock this down. I mean, if you ever get shade from Hispanic women, it's like, y'all wouldn't touch me anyway. Y'all had 2 decades. Ain't none of y'all lined up.
Well, so then that brings up my next point, though. Like, okay, and this is like self-deprecating to a degree.
Oh, we're gonna get deep on this.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like, so since none of them would touch you anyway, did you subconsciously come down?
No, it wasn't coming down. It was like, so I felt like I was not good enough as a Hispanic man for them. It's like, okay, cool. That's not ruling them out, but it's like, I mean, this is never happening. Because it was always outside of my race that people actually found me attractive. But like within the race, I don't know if I was just like bland or like boring, or why would I have a saltine cracker when I can go have a sandwich? Like, why would I do that? And it's like, dang, y'all don't have to, I'm standing right here. No, but it wasn't coming down. It was just like, I'm just looking wherever, but I know that it's probably not going to be within this pool.
Ah, okay.
And then the one, I don't know if I'm just going to say it. So like the one Hispanic girl that I actually brought home, my parents were like, we don't like her. Yeah, like my mom was, after the fact, after like when I talked about her, but like her, oh man. Yeah, it was like, she was very guarded. There was some classism there too, but
right, yeah.
Like my mom straight up did not like her. She was like, I didn't like her anyway.
But she didn't tell you that till after the fact.
No, because that's just the type of mom that she is. But
yeah.
She did. I mean, looking back on it now, it's like, ooh, you were guarded and like the barbs were out.
Yeah.
Like daggers. Yeah. So she was like, it didn't even matter. And then when I brought you home, just like, you're happy. What are our babies going to look like? To be continued. But yeah, so like I was not a good enough Hispanic candidate.
I don't know what the point of this conversation is.
I just wanted to see your take on it.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how you end this conversation. You know?
I mean, you already made the point.
Did I?
Yeah, because it's like, people are going to say whatever they're going to say. People are going to feel however they want to feel. But, to the racists out there, You're black, and I'm like a chameleon. It's like, it's even worse because you almost passing, but
Yeah. Which is, it's interesting. It's interesting how much just wherever we are, the hierarchy of like discomfort shifts, mostly based on what people perceive you as. You know, like the wild card is usually you going into a space.
Really?
Like whether you're shaved, whether you're not shaved, if you haven't been outside for a while, or if you have, like, you tend to fluctuate in perception to so many different people in so many different ways that it's always interesting to see, just like,
I'm a Rorschach test, is what you're saying?
Kinda.
Like people see what they want to see. Dang.
people see what they want to see a little bit with you. Like,
That's weird.
there's so many, I mean, this happens so often, like if we're going into certain kind of ethnic restaurants, when people see you, they think you're Middle Eastern, right? And there you go. But then if we go into a Latinx restaurant or whatever, they're like, no, you're one of us. And there you go. But then
You can't speak the language worth of poop, but yeah, you're one of us.
Sure, whatever. But you're one of us. And then, or if we go to, or like, oh, when we were like in Telluride, it didn't matter. Like, you just looked ethnic enough to where it's just like,
I'm fearful.
yeah, I'm just fearful. Like, this is crazy. What are y'all even doing here? And then
How did you guys even get here? Did you climb?
right.
We're surrounded by mountains.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I thought they didn't go outside. Like, it was ridiculous in Telluride.
I heard they don't like snow. I came here because of that reason.
Yeah, it was so ridiculous in Telluride. But like, you're the wild card a lot of the times, where people are just kind of like, they feel however they feel about me because like black is universal, I think.
Right.
But with you, then they're just kind of like, that puts a new layer of understanding on me, how they perceive you. So like in Telluride, they were like, so where are y'all from? And we were just like, Texas. And I swear to God, y'all, they were really expecting him to be like, oh, well, you know, I'm part of the King's Court of Lebanon or something.
I'm from this small little town that you probably never heard of it. It's in like Asia.
No, they were definitely expecting you to be like, they were expecting you to be a very well-off Middle Eastern person, like having oil rigs and shit, like coming from oil money.
Damn, I wish that was true.
And like me being, yeah, like of the Middle East, but like East Africa.
You have like a very like
or
regal
whatever.
look to you, though.
Sure, but I mean, like,
Here I go dipping into the, and your skin is like it's like cacao, but like from the seed cacao.
yeah. So like they were totally expecting us to say something just intriguing, like so not American. They did not expect us to be American.
We're here for a wedding.
Yeah, and we were just like, we're just here for a wedding.
By the way, y'all's ethnic food up here sucks.
Terrible. Whereas
Like,
my
no flavor. Did you flavor it with flour? What's It's a lot of spice.
Whereas, like, in Virginia with my family, they thought you were Jewish, like, straight up. Because when they think of Jewish, they think of the Middle East as well. They think of, like, Israel, Palestine, like, Jewish.
You mentioned that on a previous podcast, right?
Yeah.
I thought he was
he was a Jew. And it's just like...
That's not even how you say that.
And it's like, geographically, you're in the right area, technically, but he's not Jewish. Anyway, so it's just, you know...
I mean,
it's fascinating.
I would reiterate and emphasize your point where it's like, if it bothers you that much that someone marries outside the race, it's like, you know, like, I'm sorry. If you want to come to a dialogue about it, it's like, we can. But like this and all things, you know, just come at it from a place of discussing it where it's like, I don't understand. It's like, cool, well, let's get into chew the fat a little bit and talk it out. So at least you can understand where we're coming from, as opposed to automatically sinking into a place of hate where it's like, that's not what I want. That's not what I expect. And that's not what I want. And so it's wrong. Y'all can feel however way you want to feel. But in reality, to the people that are full of hate themselves, it's always going to be the antiquated one drop rule, where it's like, it looks like you are not what I wanted you to be, right? Like, you are not white, and so I hate you no matter what. So it's like, regardless of whether you marry within or without or outside the race, people are going to see and be like, yeah.
I would still also reiterate this idea of like expand what your view of blackness is. You know, I think it's okay to not necessarily fit into the mold of what everyone has told you your blackness has to be. There's no right or wrong way to be black. Like, this was the episode of like, I think it was the episode of Fresh Prince, whereas Carlton was having to go through college, and like there's this like hoteppy kind of black guy who's like just eating in the Carlton because he's so like, you know, uptight and blah blah and whatever. And by the end of the like the pinnacle of the episode was him just saying, yo, black is not what I'm trying to be, it's what I am. And like I think that really just sums it up. You know, at the end of the day, doesn't matter who's sitting here next to me, I still move through the world as a black woman, and like there's things that just come with that.
To make it a little bit lighter, I really enjoy the How Married Are You podcast. Like, the shout out is sincere and real. Like, I
believe, like, he listens to, like, he knows when new episodes are out.
They're on
before
Wednesdays.
I
know
do.
They're on Wednesdays.
Oh, are they? Okay. See?
Pretty sure they're on Wednesdays. I also get the thing on YouTube where it's like, oh, there's another, because I see he takes little like Polaroids now.
Yeah.
So he'll post on YouTube. Like seriously, if you're interested in married podcasts, or if you are interested in that, in like a black married couple's perspective on marriage,
they cute.
It's just they just talk about good topics. I feel like they both have something to bring to the table, and it's like I enjoy listening to it. It's a good like 30-40 minute just I call it a time suck, but in a non-derogatory way. You know, like you can just listen to it on the way to work.
Yeah.
So if y'all are interested in another podcast, check that one out. Again, available wherever you get your podcast from. But please stick around with us too, because we love having you.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what point I wanted to add to this though, that I can think of now, which is that like, I know for me, keeping in mind all of the exterior forces as far as like attraction and all of that, and then also like the fetishization of mixed race couples that happens here on YouTube big time. That is part of the reason why the Beastcast exists.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I did, for the longest time, knowing what I know about fetishization, colorization, like, or colorism, like all of those things, I was very hesitant to put you on the channel because I didn't want to feed into that. Even though it was technically like my reality. Yeah, I am in an interracial relationship or whatever. But I didn't want to feed into those notions. And what ultimately ended up changing my mind was that, you know, the channel is about my life. How am I not going to show the person I'm spending my life with?
And I remember one of the first episodes on your channel that I came out in, it was the one where we were interviewing each other. Mm-hmm. About the relationship. And then I remember there was one specific comment about some woman saying, like, good for you that you got a white man, but I still don't understand. So it was like, it was a compliment and then like an immediate jab.
Yeah.
It's like, good for you for getting a white man, but I have no idea why he's with you. Why he's slumming with you, but like, I hope he never figures it out or something.
Yeah.
Why you gotta...
The self-hatred is so real, you know, within the community, specifically with black women. So
y'all are black, y'all are brown, y'all are white, whatever. Y'all beautiful, you know? Just so long as somebody else sees that in you and is not either full of hate or, you know, abusive about it in the relationship. I mean, I just feel do you, right?
Yeah. But yeah, that was why... that was another reason too why I wanted to start the Beastcast as well, because it was like, well, I should have you more on the channel, but I don't want it to seem like you could just be replaced with any other beige person. Like season 5, you could be like switched out with another beige person and like no one would notice. And like, it's like purely to get clicks or to get views or whatever. And so that was why I started the Beastcast, because it was like, no, I want people to see that you are a complete person.
Wait, that's not a thing, right? Like, you're not replacing me on season 5?
No.
There's some hesitancy there.
Oh my gosh, stop.
And with that,
But yeah, I wanted people to see that you were a complete person on your own and like what you actually bring to my life specifically in regards to the channel, which is not easily replaceable. Yeah, I guess that's it. In the comments below, let us know. What does it mean to be black? Am I black enough? You can go ahead and troll us if you need to.
If the Spirit moves you.
Yeah, go ahead.
If the Holy Spirit moves you.
To troll us.
I guess you just let the devil come out.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. All right. Doing the boop boops?
Sure.
Oh. Can we make it work with one?
No, you always ask that. And I'm always like, we're not making it work with one light. We need two lights.
Turning it off real quick.